Welcome to Brainworms and Tangents. My name is Carissa.
And my name is Pamela.
And we are two 20-somethings with ADHD on a quest to chase our impulsive ideas we can't shake. This is a self-growth podcast that is all about becoming who you want to be, one brainworm at a time.
So, Carissa, I hear you have a brainworm.
75 hard.
Carissa, I can't. I cannot do 75 hard again.
This brainworm has been in the back of our head literally since 2020, 2021.
Yeah, like every couple months, I just feel like one of us will text the other one, should we start 75 hard again? Or today smells like 75 hard. It's just, it sucks.
It's the worst. There's no easy way to talk about it, which is why we saved it for our season finale, mainly to just delay it from existing in our heads again.
Yeah, and maybe doing it for the podcast will give us the motivation that we need. But we should talk about our history with 75 hard. I feel like I recently reminded you where this all started. When was the first time that you ever heard of the 75 hard, Carissa?
I honestly cannot remember. Probably a YouTube video of some sort. It could have been a TikTok, but I remember listening to the 75 Hard podcast soon after it came out, which was sometime in like 2019. What do you remember being the origin of 75 Hard?
Well, I know the first time that I ever heard of it, you were telling me about it. And you told me about it because you had an ex who you had recently broken up with, and then this ex kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, not in like a scary way, in like they were working on themselves kind of way. And then came back with an Instagram debut of I did the 75 hard, and he had like lost a ton of weight, and he was like, this mental toughness journey really like tested me and brought me back to my center. And that was the first time that we attempted it because you were like, we should.
I can do it. Yeah. I definitely told him about it, which is like fine. I'm very glad that he is mentally tough and doing well. But yeah, we were like, we can do that easy. Which
and then
was
he
not
decided to go and do it once you were broken up. Do you think that you were his motivation?
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm everyone's motivation. So maybe like in theory, like I also have done the 75 hard challenge, just like mentally. Maybe.
You definitely have not. So when we made our first attempt, we were in grad school. Well, I was in grad school. You weren't in grad school yet.
Yeah, I was about to go into grad school. Summer before grad school.
So this was July of 2021.
Yeah.
And even when we attempted it the first time, we weren't quite following all the rules. Like we didn't give it a good full effort shot, I don't feel like. So we should back up and tell people what the 75 hard is before we get too deep into our lore.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're listening and you don't know, the 75 Hard Challenge is a mental toughness challenge created by Andy Frisella way back in 2019. He had this idea and had a platform as a podcast and decided to share this. So the challenge revolves around 5 rules that you do for 75 days straight. And if you miss any of the rules, you start back on day 1. So rule 1 is 2 45-minute workouts. 1 has to be outside. 2 is a gallon of water. 3, you have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. 4 is a progress photo every day. And 5, you have to stick to a diet of your choosing. Those are the 5 rules.
One of the requirements of the diet is that there's no cheat days and no alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when we attempted it the first time, we still said that we could drink alcohol, which, like, we simply were not following the rules.
No.
We were breaking them from the very beginning.
From the very beginning. And Andy is very specific that there can be no modifications, no substitutions. This is the rule, and if you're not going to do it, don't call it 75 hard. Call it whatever else you're going to call it.
I remember just drinking a lot of water and having to pee all the time.
All the time.
Because a gallon of water is a lot.
It is a lot of water. That was probably like one of the hardest things, I think, was the water. Because it was summer, I was waking up later. But if you wake up late, now you're like so many
You have so much water to drink.
You have so much water to drink.
I don't think I fully understood conceptually like how much a gallon of water is.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yes, it's like a milk jug. But didn't we do the math? It's like 5 bottles of wine.
Yeah, it's about 3,700 milliliters, which is 5 bottles of like a 750 milliliter bottle of wine, which is kind of crazy. 128 ounces. Yeah, way too much liquid. So it's like, what, 4 of your like 32 ounce like Hydro Flask or something?
Yeah. I was using, and I brought it back out as a visual, this giant ice cream cone cup. And I don't even know how big this cup is, but I think I had to fill it like 2 or 3 times and drink the whole thing.
At least it made it fun.
Yeah, I guess.
There were so many times I was up late until 3 a.m. desperately wanting to go to bed, but chugging the rest of my water to make it. Because the nice thing about the challenge is it doesn't stop at midnight, it stops whenever you go to bed. So there were some late nights trying to get all these rules in before the day ended.
We were attempting this with friends too. We kind of brought them into it. Shout out Kelly, I know you're listening. She and I were doing it together, and we would wake up really early each morning and go for our 45-minute walk. Or walk outside. And that was really nice. But then we got into a really busy period of work, and it was too many things to complete at the same time. And also, the reason that I quit is because you quit, Carissa, like 2 days before, and you didn't tell me that you had quit. So I was like, well, I'm not doing this alone. If everyone else quits, I'm also done.
Yeah, it's kind of the downside of having accountability is when one person decides they're done, it kind of is like a ripple effect. Because there were 5 of us doing this challenge, or 4 of us. I can't remember. That was 5 years ago, which is
oh my God,
beside the point. Yeah. But I remember I downloaded an Etsy worksheet that I sent, like a PDF to everyone so we could keep track of every day. We made a group chat to update each other on how much it sucked to drink water. But at the end, I think I made it to day 14 of 75.
Yeah, and then, so I guess I made it to like day 16. And I feel like when we did it the first time, I didn't do any research of my own. I never actually looked up the rules. I was just kind of going based off of what you were telling me about it and like the modifications that you all had made. Because also, like, I was very confused because like you added journaling as like one of the things. So I think I added like cleaning my apartment for 5 minutes every day. Like, we were just making so many modifications to the 75 hard.
The journal entries I was doing were also just really funny because sometimes they were like sloppy cursive because I was tired and wanted to go to bed, and they probably were all just like, I hate this sucks. But I know journaling was something I wanted to be more consistent about, so I think every day I would finish my water, read my book, and then journal and go to bed. But it was quite the time. I think we just really craved consistency and was like, what else can we add to this already very difficult challenge?
Yeah, we were kind of like using it to habit stack, but it's like it's not like we were completing the original things in the first place, so you can't really
Yeah.
habit stack on something that's not working yet.
Yeah. You have to kind of go 0 to 100. Like maybe, yeah, you could prep for it. But I think it's important that people know at this time, I was already not going to the gym consistently and also probably very dehydrated.
Yeah, it was just kind of funny to, like, it's supposed to be a mental toughness challenge, right? And I think about how little structure and discipline I had as a grad student that it's just kind of funny, which is why I'm like, I almost feel like it might be easier to attempt this time because I do feel like I have a lot more discipline and I do feel like I have a lot more structure and consistency in my life.
I don't think I feel the same. I have very little hope and faith going into this attempt. But maybe you're right. Maybe the podcast accountability, having to report back, and I don't want to say I failed, will keep me going.
So I like actually read the website this time to prepare for our attempt. And have you ever looked at the official Andy Frisella 75 Hard website?
I don't think I've gone to the website, no. But I imagine it's very intense.
It's really intense and really off-putting. It's so even just like when you Google it and like the search preview comes up, it says 75 Hard, a tactical guide to winning the war with yourself. I'm not at war with myself, Andy. I am fine. I don't know what you're projecting. It's just like super intense. And, you know, it's in like there's red writing, it's like a lot of caps in a lot of different places. And like really high up on the website, it says, this is not a fitness challenge, which is something that I've heard a couple times around it, but I feel like is not very well known about the 75 Hard. Everyone does it because they see the before and after photos, which like one of the requirements is to take a progress picture. So it's like, how can you not like conflate the two?
Yeah.
If everyone's talking about the physical results, but it's not a fitness challenge. Like he keeps saying that this is not a fitness challenge.
Yeah. And we can't see the mental transformation that these people are having, but there are like just so many testimonies of people being like, 75 Hard changed my life. And I'm like, did it?
Yeah. I don't know. And like I said, it's very off-putting, the website. I'm going to read an excerpt because it's just like, it's like podcast bro speak. And like, as two podcast gals, I just feel like that brand, that way of talking to people just is an instant turn off. Like, okay, so it talks about like excuses. There's a section that's talking about excuses. And it says, I'll start when I am ready. And Andy says, that, my friend, is your entire problem in life. You wait. You wait for the perfect time. You wait for the stars to align with Mercury in retrograde, ... or something else crazy like that. The point is you wait, ... and you don't do. Allow me to let you in on a little secret. There's never a perfect time. The stars never align. You'll never be ready. That's the point of 75 Hard, in all caps. ... To develop the toughness so that no matter what happens in your life, you'll have the mental fortitude to deal with it. So start ... execute. Period. And like, I don't disagree with the sentiment. I get it. Like,
yeah,
start. If you want to see a change in your life, do. Like, that's the point of this podcast. We've said those things.
Yeah.
But for him to be like, the stars will never align and crazy things like Mercury in retrograde, like, you are excluding a whole demographic of people who I would argue need the mental toughness. Like, you are going for people who already have this like gym bro mindset and already talk in these extremes. But you're not appealing to people who need a little mental toughness in their life. Like, and I get it. Like, I get that you need to be extreme because like that's kind of his whole approach is like do something extreme to make an extreme change in your life. But I'm like, God, why are you talking like that?
Yeah, it's very abrasive. I also think it's important to note that his initials, Andy Frisella, is AF, and his podcast is called Real AF.
So
in all caps.
stupid.
In all caps. So it is a lot. It's a lot to try and digest. And his overall podcast is kind of the same sentiment. He's just very hardcore, very extreme.
Yeah, why is he yelling the whole time?
I think that's just how he is. But he really is a like no BS kind of guy, and it's like if you want change, you have to do it. But he doesn't have the gentle parent approach that some of us need.
I will say I liked his philosophy a lot more when I listened to him talk about it on the podcast because I think he really goes into why it is a mental toughness challenge, and like he talks about how the point is that it is difficult. And I think when I was trying to rationalize the rules by like looking for a reason as to why he chose 2 workouts, why he chose 45 minutes, why he chose specifically a gallon of water, it made more sense by the end of the podcast. He just chose them because they're arbitrary, difficult things. Like, he just sought to make a challenge that is intentionally difficult and pointless to see if you can do something intentionally difficult and pointless for 75 days with no motivation to do so besides the fact that you want to finish it. And that made a lot more sense to me once I like heard him talk about it. I also think a gallon of water is way too much, but I get it now, Andy. I get it.
Yeah, you get it. I really liked on his podcast, though, that he says this part of these rules will be easy for some people. People that already are going to the gym twice a day, that's fine. But can you read 10 pages every day? Have you picked up a book in the past year? Are you ready to like receive knowledge like via a book, not on your phone or watching TV? Or people that already have a good diet. Maybe they're also not drinking enough water. So I like that he specifies that there is something that someone might be good at in each of these, but putting them all together and repeating them every day for 75 days is that piece that people fall off and fail at.
I just feel like there's another soft skill that he's missing in there. Like how about like 40 minutes of listening to women? You know, like I think that would be great. Because that's an arbitrary, difficult thing to do.
Yeah. It is hard to take all of it in. But like you're right, some of the things that he's saying, they make sense, but you have to kind of rationalize them for yourself and take away the delivery that he's going about some of them. Because like the thought is there and he's in the right direction, but it can be a bit much. I remember he talks about the people that have done the challenge and how they like widely range in ability. He had like a woman who was like 8 months pregnant who finished the 75 hard challenge, and how like that shouldn't be a barrier to you. So anyone can do it, but what we've seen a lot now is people will the 75 soft challenge or the 75 medium challenge, which I think is really, really funny because he predicts that in his first episode in 2019.
Yeah, that is so interesting. He says people are going to make alterations to this challenge and they're going to call it 75 hard, and it's not 75 hard.
Yeah. And they're going to wonder why they don't get the same results that all these other people are. And I was like, dang, yeah, you got me. Like the 75 soft challenge, that was a huge TikTok trend. If you do hashtag 75 soft or even 75 medium, you're going to see countless videos of people maybe only doing one 45-minute workout and drinking two, like 64 ounces of water and not the full thing, or just reading fiction, and that's not the point. And
Yeah.
I think everything can be modified and created, but I do agree with Andy that if they're gonna call it 75 hard, that's not what it is.
Yeah, he's definitely correct with that. I
Yeah.
think especially when you break down the fact that none of the things are difficult to do on their own, because, and I think the thing that people forget is a workout can be literally anything. It can be a 45-minute walk,
Yeah.
like 45 minutes of yoga, like whatever you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is physically capable of doing 245, like any workout.
Yeah.
So you're physically capable of doing that, and everything else is just also things that you can do. It's just, can you do all of them in one day consistently? Can you plan your life around something?
Yeah, because it is inconvenient. And I think that is
Yeah.
the point. And a lot of that, what you and I were talking about, was lining things up to make sure they don't conflict with this or they don't conflict with something else because we want to be able to do this, or we're traveling or work. And I don't think any of that's ever going to stop. There's no perfect time to do 75 hard.
Yeah, which I will then raise you, like, then what is the point of putting myself through something not pleasurable if I feel that I am mentally tough and I feel that I'm disciplined, but because the point is sacrifice, right? The point is to sacrifice for 75 days. Do I have to sacrifice in order? Like, can I not still do fun things? Like, there should still be room for fun things in life, and I don't see why for 75 days I can't do fun things in life.
I think it's all about priorities and knowing that maybe you are super disciplined, but are you this disciplined? Are you real AF anti-disciplined?
And that's why I want to do it, to prove that I can and that I just choose not to.
Yeah. It is hard, and I think that's one of the like cautionary things going into this is I don't think like our self-worth revolves around if we can finish this or not, or we don't have to prove anything to ourselves, but we want to anyways.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what the right intentions are to go into it, because it does suck when you don't finish it. It's kind of just like an incomplete progress bar that like loomed over my head. That's been there for 5 years since we tried it the first time.
Another thing that I thought was funny from the website was that Andy specifically says that this is a free of charge, this is a free challenge. And I just feel like the audacity to assume that I would pay to participate in this is so funny to me. And again, like when he's talking about it, I'm like, okay, I get why you put that on the website, because he was like, I'm not making you pay for anything. I'm not, like a lot of people promise results and they try to sell you on something. And for that reason, we really align with this. Those are our values too. Like at the end of the day of like, make changes in your life without spending money, just be the change that you want to be. But it is funny that he just like the way that it's phrased on the website of like, oh, by the way, you don't have to pay for this. You're welcome. Thanks, I was not going to.
Well, and it's funny because he does, like, he said, I'm only going to mention this once. He's like, obviously, if you take my supplements, sure, they'll probably help you too, but that's not what this is about. He's like, that's my only shameless plug.
Don't you have to pay for the app, or did I make that up?
No, you do have to pay for the app.
Okay, so it's like, and that's the thing, right? Like, is the app a crutch? Shouldn't you track it yourself? Shouldn't that be part of the challenge? I don't know.
Yeah. The app, for those that don't know, I believe is just a tool to track each day. You kind of check off each of the 5 rules when you complete them. There might also be like more of his content on there or more of like a community feel, but I have no idea because I haven't paid the like $7 to get the app.
I will not be paying for that.
And I will not be paying.
How would his supplements help you? Like, do they help with mental clarity? And
I don't know. I think it was like protein things or pre-workout.
But
I think
it doesn't matter. It's not a fitness challenge.
Yeah, I think he was like, you'll definitely see other results, or maybe you'll feel different if you take these things, but they are in no means necessary for this specific challenge, which I do respect. I think that, yeah, we're not going to do that.
So I think going in this time, I just I'm not looking forward to it. I don't even know why we're doing it. Okay, well, we spent a lot of time talking about why we're doing it. I just don't want to.
Yeah. Even when we were talking about it, we decided on a day, and then my family decided to book this cruise on the day that we were going to start the challenge. So now, not ideal, but now we're starting at different times because I wanted to not have the first day to be in the middle of an ocean.
Yeah, and I decided to start 76 days before my birthday so that I could be done by my birthday. And, like, to be clear, Andy would not agree with what we're doing because he says you should not plan it, you should just start, no excuses, blah, 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 blah. I want to still enjoy my life. I can be mentally tough and still have a social life. And I think that's important to note.
Mm-hmm.
So at first I chose on those days, but now things keep popping up where I'm like, I have a bachelorette party during the time. And I'm like, yeah, I can do 2 workouts. I can stick to my diet. I can not drink. I can do those things. Mm-hmm. But also, I want to enjoy the bachelorette party. Like, if I'm going on a trip with friends, don't I want to enjoy their company instead of being in the corner chugging a gallon of water?
Making everyone do a 45-minute walk at 6 a.m.
Right? And we're driving to the place, so gonna make people stop because I need to pee. Like, I'm not gonna be fun to be around. Like, I signed up for the mental toughness challenge. They didn't.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean I have to exclude myself from anything fun. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Where does fun come into this? Where's laughter and connection?
And whimsy and joy.
And whimsy and joy.
There's always going to be something. And like right now, I probably don't even have my full 75 days of like the things that are added. Like I'm going to a wedding. I'm going to have to do everything before that because I don't want to, I don't know. Like, sorry guys, hold on. I have to go. I'll be gone for 45 minutes.
Like where's Carissa? Oh, she's doing laps around the church.
Yeah, like that's not ideal. And like, yeah, you said the goal isn't to inconvenience others. Also make it about you. Like, oh guys, I'm just doing 75 hard. Sorry.
I know, like you're like legally obligated to tell people that you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Like a marathon.
Yeah.
Oh, just gotta train really quick. Yeah. It does create some issues, and it's gonna force us to wake up earlier or go to bed later. Or just plan and structure our day, which isn't ideal, which is also the point of the challenge. Because we're probably going to get sick in those 75 days.
That's the thing. I just got done being, like, super sick on my deathbed. And I couldn't imagine doing anything being that sick. So hopefully it's past me, but...
Yeah, you really don't know what's going to happen. So... But do you want to jump into the rules and kind of go through how we're feeling about each one?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so when Pam was doing like the deep dive on the website, I was listening to the podcast. There were added rules that I don't remember from the first time around. So with like the 2 45-minute workouts, we both knew that one had to be outside. He very clearly states if there is a tornado, if there is a blizzard, he's not responsible for you being outside. So he says to be smart. So maybe you could be outside under, like, maybe in the garage with the door open. Like, I don't know, like different things like that. But he was like, be safe. But he also mentioned that the workouts can't be consecutive. They have to be like, what, 3 hours apart?
Yeah, I learned that from the website. 3 hours between a workout, because I think you can easily spend an hour and a half at the gym.
Totally.
But having to have the break in your day and find another time to carve out is inconvenient. Thanks again, Andy.
Yeah, that's the point. It really does make you have to prioritize the challenge in the workouts. That's why, like, when I was thinking about it, like, I know if I do something like first thing in the morning, I can hopefully squeeze in 45 minutes later, but like, you really have to plan your day, because yeah, I would easily do like an hour and a half walk without stopping, but it's not part of the rules.
Yeah, and I think with the workouts, I think it's the ADHD tendency to do like all or nothing. Right. So I don't need to also start a brand new intense workout routine with the 75 hard. Like, I think at first I should just be doing 2 45-minute walks, or, you know, maybe 2-3 actual like intense workouts a week, but considering I don't go to the gym right now. So I shouldn't jump from not going to the gym at all to 14 intense workouts a week. Like, that is going to kill me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, you can start with 45 minutes of pull-up practice.
Yeah, that's my push-up practice.
Push-up practice? Yeah. I think when I think about this first goal, in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to run a marathon. And that's not what he's asking us to do.
Literally just have to walk.
Yeah. So being realistic, knowing ourselves and easing into it is going to be kind of part of those first few days of the challenge, maybe first few weeks.
Yeah. I am really lucky to have a terrace in my apartment, and there's just a covered part of it, so it's totally outside. It's just there's a little roof over it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really helpful for these outdoor workouts, where if it is pouring rain, I can easily be under the little roof, or even just like if I want to really tough it, I could be on the terrace in the rain. Under the uncovered part. But obviously a lot easier to run in if it starts lightning or something like that. So that, I think, is going to make it much easier for me to do that, which is annoying.
No, hey, we'll take any bit of convenience that we can in this wildly inconvenient challenge.
Yeah, considering none of the other rules are convenient to me.
Yeah. Going into the second rule of drinking a gallon of water, does it have to be pure water? Can you add anything to the water? Is he like get into detail into that?
I don't remember reading anything about that. That's a hot take, because I don't know if you've seen the water people on Instagram.
Yes. I have seen the water people.
And I don't condone bullying, and I don't support these people, but it is really funny, the comments that people leave on the like the war that is in the comment section of people fighting over, like, I think both sides are silly when they fight, of like, is this water or not? And it just like, you're getting so worked up over a sugar packet, but then people are really passionate about it, of like, this isn't water and you should know that.
Yeah. I mean, I like people getting creative with their water.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I mean, at most, so what people are doing is they just have these like big, like 40-ounce cups, and they're putting maybe like Mio or like a Crystal Light or lemon juice, or like they're just like adding stuff to make their water more fun and whimsy. And people are like, all you're doing is drinking sugar. That's not water. That's not healthy. I would love to know what Andy has to say about it, but I do not recall anything from his podcast about what is and isn't a gallon of water.
Yeah, I'm trying to check his website right now to see if he says anything.
I think last time all I did was drink straight water. I didn't add any flavorings. I didn't add any lemons or cucumbers or anything that people are doing. Okay, so on the Andy website under frequently asked questions, he says, I will start by saying that if you have to ask, the answer is always choose the harder option. However, if you still have specific questions, here are the most frequent FAQs. So he says, can I add XYZ to my water? The water counted toward your gallon cannot include any mixers or additives. This includes protein powders, electrolytes, crystallites, pre-workouts, green, etc. The water must be plain, unflavored, and non-carbonated. You're welcome to drink those separately as long as they're in line with your diet, but they will not count towards your water intake.
That makes me feel better because it's a point against the protein bros.
Yeah.
So I do kind of like that.
The harder option.
So plain water, which I don't typically put anything in my water, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think at most I put lemons in there, but can't mix anything. Plain water.
Not even a lemon. Okay.
Not even a lemon. So I think that is, I mean, it makes sense because I do drink tea a lot, and sometimes I'll take like a packet of like the vitamin C emergency with water, and then you would have to start adding up, oh, well, I had tea this morning and I had this. But then you get into the specifics of like, well, I had coffee, which is part water, and that's not. Plain water. So the third goal is to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, and we learned from the podcast.
Yeah, so it's not on the website, but in the podcast, he specifically says it has to be a physical book.
Yeah. We kind of assumed it wasn't like you weren't allowed to do any audiobooks, but you and I both own a Kindle, and he was like, no e-readers, no audiobooks. And he kind of talks about this because seeing the physical progress of your book is going to help you keep reading. If you can look at a book on the side, see where you're at, see how much you have left to go. And I get that. My Kindle has the percentage.
Yeah, that's what my Kindle tells me.
Yeah. So I don't like that that's not, that you like, that wasn't at least maybe explicitly on like the rules of the website. So we talked about like going to the library and getting a book so we don't have to buy the book.
I support going to the library. This is all great things. Normally I would support going and doing the harder thing, but we're just doing so many hard things.
Yeah. It's the nonfiction part also makes sense to me. He wants you to be learning about something, whatever it is, just not a fiction book.
And I really don't mind that because I normally do read nonfiction, so that's the same for me.
Yeah, and one of the things that we decided to do this time was to read the same books. So even though I'm going to be starting a week later, I'm going to read 10 pages a day for like the week prior, so we can have like a little book club on the side, which I think will make it fun. We're really going a step further and sharing our wisdom and knowledge and growth together. So we've been bouncing back some ideas about books to read.
Yeah, all about the accountability buddy system.
Yeah.
So I feel good about the reading of 10 pages. I think it'll be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Can I double dip? Like, can I read my physical book while I walk on the treadmill?
He doesn't say anything about habit stacking.
Because that seems like an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like I'm banned from drinking water while I work out, right?
Exactly. I would say you could read and walk on the treadmill 1,000%. I think that makes me nauseous and I can't do that and I'll fall off the treadmill. But if you can do that, I don't see why not.
Yeah. So I think that's my approach.
Yeah. Let me know if it's hard for you because I did not have much success. I can bike and read. I did try doing that, like a stationary bike and
read is kind of
reading.
crazy.
Your knees kind of get in the way, but it was easier than walking.
Interesting. Okay.
The fourth rule is to take a progress photo every day. People forget this one.
They do, and I really don't want to do this one.
Yeah, it's takes up a lot of storage on your phone, first of all. Thankfully,
True.
I have enough storage, hopefully. But it is, I mean, it's hard. You're being vulnerable with yourself. I mean, he makes a good point. Like, these are your photos. You don't need to share them to anyone. It is just for you. So do with that what you will. But people do videos. They spin around. Maybe a video every day will be fun. Set up a photo.
I just have never done anything like that before.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't want to, but it's fine. You're right. I don't need to show anyone. They'll just be there. I can delete them at the end if I really want to.
Exactly.
But if it's not a fitness challenge, then what does it matter what I look like?
I think it's to remember where you started. I think it's the same thing with like the physical book, seeing the progress, or at least like knowing like, oh my gosh, that day was really rough, or XYZ thing. And the funny thing is I still have my folders on my phone. That's an album that's titled 75 Hard of photos now from 5 years ago. So it is wild because I just look different anyways. Like my hair was a different length. I'm in my parents' house. So it's like I'm not there anymore. There's going to be different things, different background. So I'll probably continue using the same album because I think that'll be fun. Reminder of way back when. But he talks about not being able to see progress, and that's what people lose momentum by because they're like, what's the point? Blah, 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 blah. Especially the ones that are mainly in it for the fitness aspects of things. But 75 days is a long period of time, and day 66 is going to look different than day 1. But day 14 might not look very different. So at least having a physical log where you can see like, oh, wait, I do see that. Because I don't think I can look in the mirror and be like, oh, this has changed. And I also don't think stepping on a scale is a good measurement of how like your body looks, what those things are. So I think it's just another way to assess.
Yeah. I get it. Maybe can't we get our aura painted every day and see how your aura changes?
Yeah.
I think that would be a better illustration of the changes that you experience through 75 Hard.
Yeah, a better assessment. Maybe we'll write Andy and let him know our thoughts for a 75
probably
whimsy.
Tell me to probably get a restraining order against me. I think that goes along with Mercury in retrograde and waiting for the stars to align. So yeah. I think I'll just keep quiet.
Also, I think it's really funny that Mercury currently is in retrograde as we're filming this.
Is it?
Yes! The fact that this is happening during this, I think, is very serendipitous.
That's what Mercury retrograde means, is
exactly
revisiting past themes. And here we are, revisiting the same freaking theme that we just can't get past. So I hope that means that we actually complete it this time.
Yeah. But maybe the stars really weren't aligned last time.
Yeah. Have you considered that some people are more aligned with the stars, Andy? And that by the end of this, you're more aligned with the stars?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Because if we will talk about the stars, like, what he's talking about makes sense astrologically, too. We talk about Saturn being the planet of restriction and discipline. And even though it is those values, Saturn can reward you for discipline and restriction, and it often does. So really, we are turning into our inner Saturn. We are living aligned with Saturn. So it's not separate from the woo-woo stuff, okay? It's
not. I would love to know the phase of the moon that it is today, too, because I do think those things matter. Maybe Andy needs his birth chart read.
Yeah.
to know
Oh,
where he
I'm
falls.
sure it is somewhere online. Is this a bonus episode for
Reading
our
Andy
hiatus?
Frisella's
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of Saturn energy. I'm sure he has like prominent Capricorn placements.
No, wait. Do you want to guess what sign he is? I just looked it up.
He definitely Virgo is somewhere in there. He's got like that has to be prominent. Oh, Aries is probably somewhere significant. I'm just naming all the signs now. But the energy that I'm getting from him is Virgo and Aries and
Okay.
Capricorn.
Okay. His whole birth chart is online. I don't know if it's accurate, but according to this, his sun is in Libra. So he does have Capricorn placements.
Sun.
And Virgo placements, no Aries. So, but we won't get into that. That's not titleless episode. Reading Andy Frisella's birth chart.
I think will be a future bonus episode. And I'll see if we can bring in an astrology expert to help us decipher his chart. But back to our challenge. The final rule is stick to a diet.
Yes. And he specifically says this could be any diet you want, as long as there's no cheat meals and no alcohol.
And it has to have structured rules, so it's something that you're following.
Not just, I want to eat healthier. He needs you to have specific things in place.
Yeah. Have you decided your diet, Carissa?
I haven't. You and I talked about doing the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah.
Which I'm still all for. And I think that's probably what I'll end up doing. I think back to last time, and I can't remember what diet I did.
Because we didn't actually choose one last time. I think we just said, we're just going to eat healthier. And we didn't have any rules, which, like, I understand why we did that, because I don't really want to choose a restrictive diet because I know that that's not going to be good for me. But it's also hard to find a diet that has structured rules to follow that is actually healthy for you. Because, I mean, eating healthy does not have specific rules. Like, it is all about moderation and a little bit of a lot of different things. Yeah. So it's kind of impossible to have a structured diet. So, like, the closest healthy one that I have found is the Mediterranean diet. I mean, it's what doctors do recommend to cardiac patients. So I like that way of eating, but this was something that I struggled with choosing because I don't want to do harm through this challenge. I don't want to be like,
for sure,
I'm mentally tough, but at what cost?
Yeah. And I think you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money to get a whole new diet too.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the goal, and that's not something we want to do. Obviously, it'll require you to be more specific about the meals that you make. I haven't been cooking a lot recently, so I think this will get me back to doing that. And if we're doing the same diet, we can also share recipes and find new things, which is fun too. But this was definitely the hardest part. I think in addition to the Mediterranean diet, I'm probably also not going to drink any pop because I'll be too busy drinking water.
Yeah. Like, how could you have time to drink anything else?
I don't think I'll have any time. But I think when I was in high school, I went through a period of like 3 years where I didn't drink any pop, and it was fine. And then I was like, oh, but root beer floats. And then I've just been drinking pop. But I think that's something I want to go back to, of like only drinking water. Because, like, yeah, there's no time to drink anything else.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good goal. Yeah. So we are going to start 75 hard in, for me, a couple days. You're going to start about a week after that, right?
Yeah, Monday the 23rd.
And it's kind of going to be our project during our hiatus.
Yeah. It is just so wild knowing I'll start on the 23rd and I think I'll finish when we're done with our hiatus. I think it goes until like the second week of June, which feels like so far away. But it's going to be something to work towards, something to do, something mentally tough. And we're in it together.
Yeah, and I feel like I said so many things against Andy during this podcast that, like, the only way I can redeem myself is by actually completing the 75 hard. Otherwise, I'm just another naysayer, and
Yeah.
I can't be that. I have to do it. I have to show
Just
him
a
that I
hater.
can critique him and also do his stupid challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was something that you and I talked about that we saw online that was the infinity medium,
Yeah.
which was like a video I saw that was really just talking about, well, if you just have these good habits and you do them for the rest of your life, isn't that enough? And Andy would disagree.
He would.
But I think that's the goal. I think ultimately after the challenge, people continue some of the same habits. People come to really enjoy a morning walk, or maybe not a whole gallon of water, but they're still like chugging a whole thing of water when they first wake up or go to bed or something like that, or find a diet that sticks with them. So that's the goal, I guess, is to come up with some habits outside of this.
Yeah, I guess we'll see in roughly 75 days.
In roughly 75 days.
Well, we'll be back with an update on how we do in 75 Hard with our season 2 premiere, meaning that this is a wrap on season 1 of Brainworms and Tangents. Thank you so much for coming on this ride with us. But don't worry, like we mentioned, we'll be back with season 2 on June 10th. So June 10th will be our season 2 premiere, and we will have the update on how 75 Hard went. In the meantime, don't worry, you won't totally miss us because we'll have exclusive updates and fun subscriber-only content over on Substack. It's free to subscribe, so go ahead to brainwormsandtangents.substack.com, and that can be found in the show notes as well.
And if you enjoyed season 1, be sure to share your favorite episode with a friend. You can even win fun prizes through our referral program over on Substack. We'll see you for season 2.
Woo! Bye.